So I was about to have us go to the Storm Coast, but then Josephine said, "May I have a word?" So let's talk with Josephine.
What did you need?
Well, as you are, Talvashos, people have asked. You grew up outside the Canary homeland, but there is no easy way to ask your thoughts on the cube.
Ooh.
Have you studied the Qun?
It is a decided gap in my education. I know the Qun is a philosophy, a set of laws, a legislative guide, and a social architecture governing the Qunari. Those who appeared at court, however, insisted the Qun is too complex for an outsider.
It's not because you're human. Real Qunari tell me I'll never understand the Qun.
Yet they take converts. Their criteria is beyond my grasp. Do you believe in any of the Qun's philosophies?
I've met mages living under the Qun. Believe it or not, they trust magic even less than the Chantry.
Which indicates you have no reason to join them, and yet... people ask how a Qunari could be Andraste's herald. It worries them if they believe it, and angers them if they do not. Convincing them of your good intentions will be tasking.
You'll think of something, Ambassador.
I hope so. It will be interesting. Strangely, your mercenary work is not so inflammatory. People are fabricating extravagant tales of your heroics.
There wasn't a group around that didn't want my help when a tough assignment came up. If you needed it done, Adar was on the top of the list.
I noticed. Leliana found a letter from the captain of your last company. He had nothing but praise for your skill in battle, but doesn't mention what part you play.
Captain Tully praised me? William Ironass Tully?
That's quite the moniker. But yes, your captain went so far as to say he'd have lost entire battles without you.
Just like the old man not to admit that to my face.
Some people find it difficult to give praise, or find it in their interest to withhold it. Your captain did sincerely admire your skill in battle. He especially praises your last engagement.
I cornered bandits we were chasing and convinced them to give themselves up or be devoured by pet demons. I conjured up a few wisps and they practically threw their weapons away.
If the Chantry had heard and mistook you for a Maleficarum, how daring. I hope life in Haven doesn't bore you compared to such exploits.
I was paid to hunt bandits, slavers, nobles, not demons falling out of fade tears when I walk by.
That is true, but do consider the advantages. Unlike people, upon their death, demons leave no grudges behind. What may I do for you?
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies. We must aim for more.
Any visiting dignitaries I should watch out for?
Sir Griffith of Denerim, a most distinguished knight of the realm. He's defeated darkspawn, slain demons, chased down abominations. Just don't ask him about it over dinner. He spares no detail.
Alright, now let's go get Iron Bull. We'll go get Blackwall afterwards.
Did you see the message I sent?
Yes, thank you.
By the way, Cassandra and Vivian have new headgear because they can become divine. You'll see. It's a mod. It's optional gear, but it was just like, oh, hey, that's right. Either of these two can become the new divine.
Your worship, for what it's worth, welcome to the Storm Coast. I would have sent word sooner, but our efforts have been delayed.
How so?
There's a group of bandits operating in the area. They know the terrain, and our small party has had trouble going up against them. Some of our soldiers went to speak with their leader. Haven't heard back, though.
I'll do what I can to find our people.
Thank you, your worship. That's a relief. The soldiers didn't have an exact location for the bandits, but they were starting their search farther down the beach. With all this fuss, we haven't been able to conduct a proper search for the wardens either. Well, good luck. And enjoy the sea air. I hear it's good for the soul.
Yep, there he goes. Oh, the dragon fights in this game. Ooh, boy. There he is over there. What I also like is that I got lightning damage on this staff.
Chargers! Stand down! Krim! How'd we do?
5 or 6 wounded, Chief. No dead.
That's what I like to hear. Let the throat cutters finish up, then break out the casks.
Check out his reaction to us.
Damn, it's true. Oh, the Chantry must love you. A Canary mercenary is the herald of Andraste. Who'd have thought?
Usually with the other three races, he'll be like, how are you? But here he's just like, oh my gosh, it's true, you are Kunari.
Shenadan, Sten.
Let's try to keep that to a minimum. Makes the boys twitchy. I assume you remember Cremisius Aclassi, my lieutenant.
Good to see you again. Throat cutters are done, Chief.
Already? Have them check again. I don't want any of those Tevinter bastards getting away. No offense, Krem.
None taken. At least a bastard knows who his mother was. Puts him one up on you Canary, right?
So, you've seen us fight. We're expensive, but we're worth it. And I'm sure the Inquisition can afford us.
You know what I find amusing about that duo there? Just as a reminder for those of you who can't pick up on the voices, Iron Bull is voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. Krem is voiced by Jennifer Hale. And of course, you guys I'm sure remember in Mass Effect 3, Prince Jr. was James, and of course we all know that Jennifer Hale is Fem Shep. And BioWare was like, yeah, let's keep those two and bring them here for this. That's what I just find amusing about that. I've seen some people that they didn't know that was Jennifer Hale, and they looked it up, and they were just like shocked, just completely stunned that was Jennifer Hale.
How much is this going to cost me exactly?
Wouldn't cost you anything personally. Unless you want to buy drinks later. Your ambassador, what's her name? Josephine. We'd go through her and get the payments set up. Gold will take care of itself. Don't worry about that. All that matters is we're worth it.
The Chargers seem like an excellent company.
They are, but you're not just getting the boys. You're getting me. You need a frontline bodyguard. I'm your man. Whatever it is. Demons? Dragons? The bigger the better. And there's one other thing. Might be useful. Might piss you off. Ever hear of the Ben Hasra?
I learned of the Ben Hasrath from my parents. They are the enforcers of the Kunari, and the spies.
Yeah, that's them. Or, well, us. The Ben Hasrath are concerned about the breach. Magic out of control like that could cause trouble everywhere. I've been ordered to join the Inquisition, get close to the people in charge, and send reports on what's happening. But I also get reports from Ben Hasrath agents all over Orlais. You sign me on, I'll share them with your people.
Stay back. You expect me, a Tal Vashoth, to trust a Kunari spy?
Well, yeah. Or tell me to leave. Either way is fine. You want to talk Tal Vashoth, we can do that in detail some other time. But the short version, if you're not a bandit who's terrorizing innocent people, I've got no problem with you.
And that's one of the reasons that I really like Iron Bull. And while normally, yeah, that reaction may be a little over the, a little much, at the same time, you can I find it understandable. Because, yeah, we have seen how Kunari, actual members of the Kunari, of the Qun, the Ben Hasrath and such, how they treat and look upon and talk about Tal Vashoth. We heard this from the Arishok, for example, in Dragon Age 2. And from Talus, but anyways. So yeah, even though it's a little over the top, I do find it understandable that she would be concerned about that.
You're a Kunari spy, and you just told me?
Whatever happened at that conclave thing, it's bad. Someone needs to get that breach closed. So whatever I am, I'm on your side.
You still could have hidden what you are.
From something called the Inquisition. I'd have been tipped sooner or later. Better you hear it right up front from me.
What's in these Ben Hasrath reports you're offering to share?
Enemy movements, suspicious activity, intriguing gossip. It's a bit of everything. Alone they're not much, but if your spy master is worth a damn, she'll put him to good use.
She?
I did a little research. Plus, I've always had a weakness for redheads.
What would you send home in these reports of yours?
Enough to keep my superiors happy. Nothing that'll compromise your operations. The Kunari want to know if they need to launch an invasion to stop the whole damn world from falling apart. You let me send word of what you're doing, it'll put some minds at ease. That's good for everyone.
All right, you're in.
Excellent. Prem, tell the men to finish drinking on the road. The Chargers just got hired.
What about the casks, Chief? We just opened them up with axes.
Find some way to seal them. You're Tervinter, right? Try blood magic. We'll meet you back at Haven.
So, you're Ben Hasrath, huh? The spies of the Kunari.
Oh, you've heard of us?
I spent some time in Kirkwall.
That must have been fun.
You could say that.
Let me go ahead and swap something here. I had put this on Cassandra, mainly because at the time there's nothing else. Actually, I don't have anything else at the moment, unfortunately. Because what I really should do is put this on Iron Bull. But, whatever. I'll grab another piece of gear and to put on Cassandra, then put that on Iron Bull. Just because to me it makes more sense for him to wear it. Alright, so before we go back to Haven and have an important chat with Iron Bull, let's go find this Blackwall. Then once we got him on board, we'll head back to Haven and have some more talks. By the way, in case you're wondering what horse I'm using, he is currently stuck there. It's this one here. This is apparently a Kunari-themed horse mount, so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and use this one. Being a Kunari, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and use a Kunari horse. And unfortunately, yeah, the horse riding is not as nice as I would like it to be. In fact, sometimes it's just kind of like, whatever. May as well grab this while we're here.
They will make this a fight, not us. Remember how to carry your shields. You're not hiding, you're holding. Otherwise, it's useless.
Blackwall? Warden Blackwall?
You're not... How do you know my name? Who said... Ah! That's it. Help or get out. We're dealing with these idiots first. Conscripts, here they come! Hold the wall, man. Come to me.
Bit of a sound issue there, I think.
Sorry, bastards. Good work, conscripts. Even if this shouldn't have happened, they could have... Well, thieves are made, not born. Take back what they stole. Go back to your families. You saved yourselves. You're no farmer. Why do you know my name? Who are you?
I've been called a lot of things lately by a lot of people.
Well, I'm talking to you. Stop dancing.
We're Inquisition, trying to find out why the Wardens disappeared and if it had anything to do with the Divine's murder.
Maker's balls. The Wardens and the Divine. That can't... No, you're asking so you don't really know. First off, I didn't know they disappeared. But we do that, right? No more blight, job done. Wardens are the first thing forgotten. But one thing I'll tell you, no Warden killed the Divine. Our purpose isn't political.
So where are the rest of you?
I haven't seen any Wardens for months. I travel alone, recruiting. Not much interest because the Archdemon is a decade dead, and no need to conscript because there's no blight coming. Treaties give Wardens the right to take what we need, who we need. These idiots forced this fight, so I conscripted their victims. They had to do what I said, so I told them to stand. Next time, they won't need me. Grey Wardens can inspire. Make you better than you think you are.
Keep this in mind, especially for when we find out later about him not being the real Blackwall. Yeah, and don't be surprised if I end up sometimes calling him Tom. Yeah.
I wasn't aware Grey Wardens could take whatever they want.
It's complicated. If there's a blight, everyone has to help the effort to fight it. The treaties are ancient. Outside of blights, it's as binding as a clever tongue can make it.
Why haven't you gone missing like the rest of them?
Well, maybe I was going to. Or maybe there's a new directive, but a runner got lost or something. My job was to recruit on my own. Plan to stay that way for months. Years.
Do you have any idea where the other Wardens could have gone?
Maybe they returned to our stronghold at Weishaupt. That's in the Anderfels, a long way north. I don't really know. Can't imagine why they'd all disappear at once. let alone where they disappear to.
It's been a pleasure, Warden Blackwall, but this didn't help at all.
Inquisition. Agent, did you say? Hold a moment. The Divine is dead and the sky is torn. Events like these, thinking we're absent is almost as bad as thinking we're involved. If you're trying to put things right, maybe you need a warden. Maybe you need me.
Yeah, also keep this in mind for later on when we find out more about the big storyline quest involving the Grey Wardens and the Tevinter. Yeah. That whole demon army thing? Yeah.
The Inquisition needs all the support it can get. But what can one Grey Warden do?
Save the fucking world if pressed. Look, maybe fighting demons from the sky isn't something I'm practiced at. But show me someone who is. And like I said, there are treaties. Maybe this isn't a blight, but it's bloody well a disaster. Some will honor them. Being a warden means something to a lot of people.
Warden Blackwall, the Inquisition accepts your offer.
Good to hear. We both need to know what's going on. And perhaps I've been keeping to myself for too long. This warden walks with the Inquisition.
Is the Qun some kind of big secret? How come no Kunari I've met will explain it even slightly?
It's not a secret. It's just too big for a quick chat. Tell me about the Qun is like saying tell me about economics. Most Kunari know just enough to get by. It's like blind dwarves trying to figure out a dragon by touch. Only the priests really have the whole picture, and they spend their whole lives figuring that crap out.
Well, I'll leave them to it then.
Yep. It's just not something that you can just answer very simply. Not at all. That's right, we get this when he joins. So what I'm basically going to need to do... Actually, hold on. Yeah, we'll progress to this point until it says access the quest, just so we can get that little intro part. But we are still going to be doing this, just to be clear on that. But for now, because I can do some more stuff here in terms of getting power, I can be able to, get these camps here. Obviously, make your way over here towards Redcliffe and such. But for now, let's head back to Haven and have a chat with Iron Bull and with Blackwall. And I like Blackwall, even after we find out what he does, or what he did, rather, because, one, he owns up to it, which I liked. He was willing to accept what happened, even though, and what he did, he didn't do for bad reasons, not really, in terms of carrying on Blackwall's name and such, and being Blackwall. And I like how you can actually have him actually become a warden by the time we get to Trespasser. Like, there are good things about Blackwall, even though... for the, he's going about a lie for a good chunk here, but he's a good guy. He's got, there's some good stuff to him. So we can talk with Krem later. Let's talk with Bull. I really want to show you guys what it's like talking with Iron Bull if you are a Kunari.
They've got good form. Cullen's putting his Templar training to good use.
Did Cullen tell you he was a Templar? He's not wearing the armor.
He didn't have to. Might not be a Templar shield, but it's a Templar holding it. He angles the shield just a bit down. Helps direct fire or acid away, so it doesn't spray right into your face. Kunari learned the same thing when we trained to fight Tevinter mages. Your Templar's doing good work.
That's one of the things I like about Iron Bull, is that he's got a very good eye of detail. When Krem was talking about how much he's a professional, how he knows what he's doing, how he's good at what he does, she wasn't kidding. And of course, he's a Ben Hasrath, so it makes sense he would be very observant and noticing little things and details like that. Otherwise, he probably would be very good at his job as a spy for the Kunari.
I'm impressed by what Cullen has accomplished with the troops.
Damn right. It takes time to build a group into a team, but he's got their loyalty. Now he just needs them to make a decent shield wall, and they'll be good to go. Biggest problem for the Inquisition right now isn't on the front line. It's at the top. You've got no leader, no Inquisitor.
Then maybe we need one. I'd be willing.
You? Huh. Why you?
Nobody else seems to be stepping forward. And since I can seal rifts, I'm here whether I like it or not. If it proved necessary to have an Inquisitor, I could make a go of it.
You sounded like real Kunari for a second there. Talvasha. My people don't pick leaders from the strongest, or the smartest, or even the most talented. We pick the ones willing to make the hard decisions, and live with the consequences. Who knows? Maybe you sealed the breach. The Chantry gets off its ass and all those soldiers go home and get fat.
You think?
It could happen. It won't, but it could. Can I help you?
There are few here who know what it means to be Kunari.
You're not Kanari. You're Talvashath. World of difference.
You notice how he sounds a little hostile there?
I still grew up looking like this in a world of mostly humans.
Yeah. Fair enough. You didn't turn into a murdering bandit, so I guess we're fine. You want to know anything about the Kanari? Since we're talking about them.
What's your problem with Talvashath?
As Ben Hasrath, my job back home was keeping the peace, helping people live by the Qun. Talvashath turned their back on all that, decided they'd rather live like savages. The Qun is not perfect, but at least there's some sense to it.
My parents weren't like that. They lived peacefully and raised me as well as any human parents could.
Well, good. They aren't the kind of Talvashath I've got a problem with, then. Look, if you're worried I'm going to attack you, don't be. I had a lifetime of fighting Talvashath. You're not the kind I hate.
What's it like growing up under the Qun?
The Tamasrans raise us in these units of kids all our own age. They're like teachers, or Chantry sisters. They also help figure out what jobs we should do. They had me pegged for military work early on. When they learned I could hit stuff and lie, they started training me for the Ben Hasra.
By the way, I just want to re-emphasize, if you caught the fact that when I chose the My Parents Weren't Savages option, that our character here said that she had human parents. Just to reiterate what I was trying to say before about how these were two humans that were under the Qun, they left, and they raised her, a member of the Kunari race, outside of the Qun. Just want to point that out, just to clarify on that.
You never knew your parents?
No. I know for you folks, that's a big deal. The Tamasrans were like our parents, though. Taught us to read, helped us go to sleep, all the parent stuff. I remember the one who helped me build things with blocks. She laughed when I knocked everything down.
How do the Kunari rule themselves?
It's pretty simple. We've got the matriarchy, the priesthood, and the military. The priesthood figures out how Kunari should live in theory. The matriarchy makes it work in practice. And the military keeps the Kunari safe from outside threats.
Does it actually work like that? Is there much infighting?
Not like you're thinking of. People disagree, yeah, but the priests are there to solve disagreements. Here in Olay, politicking comes from people putting their own gain ahead of the gains of society. If you do that among the Kunari, the Ben Hasrath sets you straight, or kill you.
I heard there's no marriage among the Kunari.
Yeah, that's true. Kunari love our friends like anyone does, but we don't have sex with them.
Kunari don't have sex?
Oh, we definitely have sex. They're Tamasrans who pop your cork whenever you need it.
Seriously?
Yes. It's not a big deal like it is here. It's like, I don't know, going to see a healer. Sometimes it's this long, involved thing. It takes all day. leaves you walking funny. Other times, you're in and out in 5 minutes. Thank you. See you next week.
I want to point out, because even though I decided not to go ahead and show this, I considered showing you guys the Iron Bull romance. I did. I seriously did. Because it's hilarious. Oh my gosh. It's got good moments, though. It does have some genuine good moments in the romance, where they have genuine, like, you know, caring for each other and such. But oh my gosh, there are some hysterical moments, you know, involving, like, some of the sex stuff. And it does get kind of kinky and such, but I also just find it hysterical the way Iron Bull approaches this. You know, like how he just talked about what it's like in the Qun for that whole process. he made that sound like it was a visit to the doctor.
That sounds different.
Yep. Still, it's more fun here. Fewer rituals, more making it up as you go along. Plus, you folk have redheads. Redheads.
I don't blame him for feeling that way. Redheads are pretty hot.
How is everyday life different for Kunari?
Depends on your job, I guess. Some are just about the same. A baker in Val Royeaux gets up, gets dressed, and starts work. A baker in Parvolan does the same thing. They don't care about the Empire or the Qun. Mostly they worry about breaking eggs and hope the dough rises right.
It can't be exactly the same. The Kunari have no personal freedoms.
How many personal freedoms do you figure that baker in Val Royeaux has? Life isn't about freedom. The baker in Parvolan wonders if she'll be given enough eggs to do her work. Will they come on time? Will the kitchen workers get her bread while it's fresh, or will they come late and blame her 'cause it's stale? Same crap in Val Royeaux. People are just people.
Do you ever think about what would happen if the Kunari conquered Orlais or Ferelden?
Some folks, like Cassandra or Cullen, would do fine if they didn't die fighting. Those two love rules. But the mages... Can you imagine Solus trying his fade dreaming under the Qun? Or Vivian doing her political bullshit? Both Sarah and Varric would mouth off until they ended up re-educated, drugged until their minds broke. So, to answer your question, no, I don't think about it much at all.
By the way, he's not exaggerating on that point. About the whole, they would be re-educated and filled with drugs, like the ones that affect their mind, to make them more compliant to the Qun and the Kunari. Yeah. I don't blame Bull for going, no, I don't want to think about it, because the more I think about it, the more horrible it probably would be. The more I really start to think about it.
The word Kunari, does it mean what we are, the race? Or is it anyone who follows the Qun?
Depends on who you ask. Are you Kunari or Talvasha? The humans and elves who follow the Qun are the Vidathari. The Kunari who break away from the Qun are Talvasha, deserters.
What about Kunari who existed before the Qun?
The people we came from. They're called the Kossith, but we don't use that word for the race. We came south to Thedas because the Kossith were... I don't know. We had to leave. The stories aren't clear. But I don't expect they look much like us. Whatever they are.
See you later, Bull.
See ya. Can I help you?
I'd like to know more about your work with the Ben Hasrath.
Ben Hasrath is actually a general term. You've got the secret police who investigate problems inside our territory. You've got the re-educators who take people with problems and fix their minds. Or make them disappear. And then you've got the spies.
How do the re-educators work?
Well, I only know the basics. Wasn't my area. That said, keep a man awake long enough. Ask the right questions, give the right potions, and you can get him to say anything. You don't need blood magic or demons to change someone's mind. We're a lot more fragile than we'd like to believe.
Ain't that the truth?
My parents told me stories about what the re-educators did.
Yes, You were lucky your parents got away. The weak minds get bent into the right shape. Strong minds like yours, they'd have given you a poison called Kamek. You'd have been a polite, happy laborer for the rest of your life. And you'd have had a handler to help you eat and make sure you didn't crap your pants.
And that is the part about the Kunari that sounds really horrible.
And you're a spy.
Close. I am now, I suppose. But that's not how I started. They sent me to Saharan because they needed someone who could fight and hunt down problems. That whole island was a sack of cats. Incursions from Tevinter, Tal Vashath, and native rebels fighting both sides. And in the middle, me, trying to wrangle the rebels and restore order.
How'd that work out for you?
About as well as you'd expect. I hunted down a lot of rebels. Lost a lot of friends to the Vince, or the Fog Warriors, or the Tal Vashath. One day I woke up and couldn't think of a damned reason to keep doing my job. Turned myself into the re-educators.
You'd heard what the re-educators did to their prisoners.
Yes, I had. I wanted them to fix me like they fixed them. The Ben Hasrath ordered me to go to Orlais, ostensibly as a Tal Vashath, and work undercover. That's how I ended up here.
That's, damn.
You did ask. Anyway, nice talking with you. What can I do for you?
So how did you get the name Iron Bull?
I picked it. You know how it is. Even growing up Tal Vashath, your parents had to tell you about some of it, right? No names. I figure your parents chose yours the same way. Nice going on a Dar, by the way. Weapon. I like that.
But why specifically Iron Bull?
This may surprise you, but I really like hitting things. Also, it's the Iron Bull, technically. I like having an article at the front. It makes it sound like I'm not even a person, just a mindless weapon. An implement of destruction. That really works for me.
See you later, Bull.
See ya.
Maybe I'll need to start correcting myself and start saying, oh, I'm sorry, the Iron Bull. Alright, Blackwall, let's talk.
You'll have what you need.
Maker, look at it. So much easier to ignore when it's far away. And to actually walk out of it. To be that close.
If I hadn't been saved by Inquisition soldiers, I don't know what would have happened.
Inquisition soldiers? That's not what I've heard. I have to admit, I thought you'd be...
Human?
Yes.
Being up front is better than Oxman.
It was a foolish thought. Should have known better than to say anything. It's what you do and how you do it that's important. Just one question then. How do you think you fit in with all this?
It's been a whirlwind. It's hard to say where I fit.
I guess we'll have to figure that out. For me, I'll be satisfied so long as we find the bastards that killed the Divine. They owe us some answers. I've heard rumors of abandoned warden camps all over these parts. If we have time, I'd like to take a look. See if there's anything we can salvage.
What do you think of the Inquisition?
I expected more. More men, better equipment. You may have Andraste's favor, but wars are won by men, soldiers.
Brute force is not always the answer. There are plenty of other paths to victory.
True enough. Still, it never hurts to be prepared. One thing I will say about your men. They're passionate, devoted. You inspire them. Build on that foundation, and you will have an army that makes nations tremble.
What do you think about all this trouble between the mages and Templars?
Looking at it from where we stand, it seems inevitable. But that could be hindsight. How many of us actually saw it coming? Either way, I don't think the Chantry will ever recover.
What do you think of Haven?
It's a war camp that was once a pilgrim's refuge. It's the state of the world, though, isn't it? Holy ground turned into a battlefield. Pity about that temple. Would have been nice to see it.
What do you think of my advisors?
Cullen. He's got the look of a man who's been through too much. He's seen the best and the worst of humanity, and I think he still struggles with where that leaves him. Still, I trust him to watch my back.
What do you think of my advisors?
Cullen. He's seen... Still, I trust him to watch my back.
What do you think of the Inquisition's cause?
Restoring order is a goal I support wholeheartedly. But that's not the end of it, is it? Not by a half. The Lady Seeker believes we are restoring the Chantry. Others say it needs reform. I don't know where you stand on the matter, and I'll admit I haven't made up my mind either.
You must have some feelings about our friends.
Last time we dined, Sarah put away 12 potatoes, an entire roast duck, and 4 different tarts. I'm not sure where any of it goes.
We should return to our duties.
As you wish. You are, after all, in charge. At your service.
I want to hear more about you.
Compared to yours, my life will seem dull indeed.
Your name Blackwall doesn't sound Orlesian. Marcher, then? Ferelden?
I was from the Free Marchers originally. Markham. That was a long time ago. Another life.
I hear that many wardens were once criminals.
You're right. And when you join, your past is forgotten, so let's leave it that way.
What did you do before you became a warden?
I was a soldier, a nobody trained to wield a sword and follow orders. I grew weary of fighting other men's wars.
So you became a warden?
More or less. Becoming a Grey Warden was the first time I felt like I mattered. The life I led before seems hollow in comparison. Perhaps one day it will fade away.
Why did you join the Wardens?
Because they remember honor and sacrifice. Words that have little meaning to the rest of us. Because they lay down their lives for those they have sworn to protect. We all need to believe there are such men in the world. I needed to believe I could be one of them.
We can continue this discussion at another time.
Very well. Inquisitor?
Let's talk about the Grey Wardens. You must know a lot about them.
Ah, the Wardens. I'm afraid we're less exciting than we seem.
The Blight's been over for 10 years. What do Wardens do when the world's not ending?
There is still Darkspawn. Just because we killed so many in Ferelden doesn't mean they're gone. And the world is not so peaceful that there's no use for good men with swords. Sometimes you have to figure out for yourself what the pledge to protect others really means. It's not always about just archdemons and blights.
Where were you during the Blight?
I was in Ferelden, on my own, like always. Quietly killed my fair share of Darkspawn too.
You haven't had contact with other Wardens for a while. Why were you on your own?
It's what I've always done. Recruitment only requires one man. Besides, I've always been a loner. Works best for everyone that way.
So you have no idea where the rest of the Wardens are?
Do you find that odd? The Blight is over. We don't need an organized force. And orders don't change much from day to day. For the last 1,000 years or so, it's been just find Darkspawn, kill them, repeat as necessary.
Let's continue this at another time.
As you wish. I'll be here if you need me.
Obviously, we know he is holding back some info, not being entirely honest with us about some of those things. Well, and it should probably be very obvious why. So, I am going to head to the table over here and see if there's anything there, which I'm pretty sure there is. We'll hold off on talking to Kem later. And, well, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And probably when we come back, I may even go to the, what's this other place called? Yeah, the Fallow Mire. This one where apparently we have to go find the missing soldiers, which are dealing with that group, which can eventually lead to an absolutely hysterical moment in this game. It's one of my favorite moments in this game. It's so funny. But that won't be until way later. But basically, probably the next story part that I will probably show you guys is us in the hinterlands making our way towards Red Cliff so we can make contact with the rebel mages and talk to Grand Enchanter Fiona. Stay tuned.